Welcome to Judica County. My name's Josh Whitaker. I'm your host today. I am an attorney with the law firm of McCullers, Whitaker, and Hamer. And today I am joined by...
My name is Jordan Mackey. I'm also an attorney with McCullers, Whitaker, and Hamer.
We want to talk to you today about the top 5 things you need to be ready for when you come to sit down with us for an estate planning consultation. So there's tons of things to talk about at an estate planning consultation. We're just focusing on the top 5. Number one thing you need to be ready for, what do you got, Jordan?
Number one thing I want to start with is just bringing your documentation or the documentation of the deceased. So this relates to any death certificates, any bank statements, any information about a retirement account or investment accounts. This will all be beneficial on both ends if you bring this in.
Right, so when you come to sit down with me or Jordan or someone at our firm to start planning your estate, we're going to have a lot of questions for you. And like Jordan said, one of the biggest questions we're going to have for you, what are your assets? When you pass away, what are you leaving to the next generation, to your heirs? So we're going to want to know investment accounts. We're going to want to know about vehicles, real property, life insurance. Everybody always forgets about their life insurance or where it is or who's got it. They don't know where the policy is. So that's the number one thing you need to be ready about. We're going to talk to you about your assets.
This also includes if there is a last will and testament, which would let us know information for another one of the things we're going to bring up, which is knowing your executor, your administrator, and letting them know what they'll be doing.
So a lot of people come to us and they haven't thought about a few things. And one thing is, who is going to serve as your executor? So we're sitting down, we're talking to someone about setting up a will, setting up things for when you pass away. One of the biggest questions you have to answer is who's going to be in charge of your estate? Who is going to run it? So the executor can be your spouse, right? Your surviving spouse. It can be one of your children. It could be a professional. So if they agree to do it, it could be an attorney. It could be your CPA. It could be your financial planner. But all those people have to agree to be your executor. So in a perfect world, before you come sit down with us, you've thought about it and you've ask that person or that professional if they'll serve as your executor. We can't just put down the president, right? You have to go ask those people to serve. The other big thing that comes up a lot is if you have children under the age of 18, we're going to ask you, who do you want to be the guardian? So you need to have thought about, if I die and I have underage children, who's going to take care of them? And you should talk to those people, right? So like if it's a situation where you've got 2 married folks, right? So the surviving spouse is going to be default kind of the guardian. But if something happens to you both at the same time, who's going to take care of your kids? That is the number one, I don't know about you, Jordan, but when I sit down with people, that's the number one thing that they haven't thought about. Like one spouse will have one guardian in mind, the other spouse will have another guardian in mind. They haven't asked the guardians, they haven't really thought it through. So that's the big thing if you have underage kids. Who's going to be your guardian?
Absolutely, yes. And that goes into the other point of having a trustee set up, which could be the guardian also. But when there's an underage person that will be receiving from the deceased, what you'll want in place is a trustee to handle those assets. And you could tell the trustee what they can do through the documentation, but they'll also want to have similar statistics or skills that the guardian would in a connection to the children that the guardian would to be able to handle everything for them.
And we're actually going to have another podcast that talks more about the guardian and the trustee for underage children. Right now, just know that's a question you're going to get and that's something you'll need to have put thought into. Because once you it's hard for people to do estate planning. So once you actually make the appointment and you get in front of us, you get with us, we don't want anything to slow you down. Once you've taken that step, you have that momentum built up. We want to get everything finished out. I don't want to stump you with questions or things that you haven't thought about. I would say, Jordan, that those are the top 5 things that you need to be ready to talk about at your estate planning consultation. So
Absolutely.
Real quick, you want to know who guardian of underage children are going to be. You want to know who's going to be the trustee for any trust that you're going to create in your will. You're going to want to know who your executor is going to be, and you want to have talked to that executor. You want to know your assets, know what you're leaving to the next generation, and you want to bring documentation, bank account statements. You want to have a list of assets so we know what we're dealing with. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that gives you a good idea what to expect when you sit down with me or Jordan. If you have any questions, you can always contact us at the number on the screen, 919-772-7000. Thank you.